This is Bianna Marie, and you're listening to Hoobazoo.com.
What are you doing?
Just relax, Ellen.
This is so dangerous. We have no business being in an area like this.
Well, look at it this way, honey. This is a part of America we never get to see.
That's good.
No, that's bad. I mean, we can't close our eyes to the plight of the cities. Kids, you noticing all this plight? This'll just make us appreciate what we have. Roll them up.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is the booth.
Staring down, looking at the blood-stained concrete. You're the dead MC, lying at my feet. You took a 9mm rhyme straight to your mind. Damn, my better split. This is my time, so I make my way up the block. Get to home base and lock that up. Crack the Cavassier and grab the phone. Call one of my troops up. Hope the soldiers on me says, yo, what's up, what's going on? Make it quick, cause I'm trying to get my Stella on. Nigga, your girl, I'm in the... These lyrical assassins tried to pull a hit, and then boom, came a noise from the other room. It was the boys in blue with the SWAT crew. They got us locked up for lyrical murder. It's one of them charges that you never heard of. It's the booth. The booth. The booth. The booth. Yeah, it's the booth. The booth. The booth. Yeah, we're killing all your podcasts like the HIV virus. You want to battle this kid? Huh, don't even try this. Back the up, think again, count to 10. You want to grab that mic just to get done in? It's the booth. The booth. The booth. The booth. Yeah, it's the booth. The booth. The booth. The booth. Yeah, it's the booth.
Was he African?
African.
No, he was American, and he was like you. He looked just like you.
He was Jewish.
Just like you.
Okay, Jew.
Okay.
It's an odd crime for a Jew to commit.
Pretty docile.
Okay, so we have an African Jew wearing a hoodie.
No, you don't.
No.
No, that's not what I said. Is that what you heard me say? I said he looked like you. Do you look like an African Jew?
No, I look like a cop.
Yeah.
He was Caucasian.
All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are listening to The Booth, December 8th, 2020. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. My guest is already on with me, and like I said, since COVID, like before COVID, and I keep talking about it because it's just so funny. I used to tell people, when you come on this show, 6:45, I got to get your sound check right, your video check right. We on Skype or whatever we was doing, and people would come on and they wouldn't be ready. But like I just tell you, I keep saying the one thing that I'm blessed with COVID is that mostly all of the people who guest on my show or come on to interview, y'all are on point. Like I tell people to be in at 6:45, they in at 6:30, 6:35. Your video is on point. Your Zoom is on point. Everything is on point. So now we can sit here, and it's good because now I can sit here and vibe with my guest. So as you guys can see, I got my guest already on with me, Greg Fernandes. He is an author of the book Zero Excuse Limit, and Excuse Limit Zero is the title of the book. But he's got a lot of other titles too that we want to talk about. But before we get in here and talk to him, I got to thank my guest for a couple of weeks ago, Ken Diesel and R Squared. They were on the show with me. And also, as you guys can see, the banner behind me Peter Barrett, UFC 256 this Saturday night. Sinister One Productions is a proud sponsor of Peter Barrett, who just flew out. Slippery Peter flew out today, landed in Vegas. He will be fighting Chase Hooper on Saturday night, UFC 256. Now, the last time Peter Barrett fought, he came out in the losing end, but he took a kick to the face in the first round, and like every other gritty New Englander around here, he held it down. So we are supporting him, holding on with him, and seeing what he's going to do. As you guys look down below, you guys can see Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. Just got 2 controllers fixed to him. Just had to send the third one out because a teenager who got mad at Madden broke his joystick. But this guy has a 48-hour turnaround. You send his controllers out to him, sends them right back to you, and you're ready to go. Also in the sports booth, as I mentioned, Peter Barrett right there. Sinister One Productions, a proud sponsor of Peter Barrett. Vianna Marie is also a proud sponsor of her brand. Rebel Rom. It's my cousin Rebel Rom is Romney Hayes. She is putting out a clothing line for black women and black men to put a positive spin on t-shirts. So you want to check Rebel Rom out and make sure you visit her and tell her that Keith Hayes, your family, sent me. Victory Fence, Ryan Malidi, 142 Bay Street, Taunton, Mass. 02780. You want to reach out to him, get some work done. He's put up some fences that you can see there in the pictures. He also put up a nice mailbox for my brother outside his new house. So big ups to my brother who's recovering from having congestive heart failure. Big ups to him. So I got my guy Greg Fernandes on. As you can see, we got our first topic for the news booth, but I'm going to sit that right here, and we're going to get into that after we get into this interview, because Greg is actually going to be on the show as a special guest host tonight. I sent this man a list of the topics that I'm talking about, and he's like, I'm on board. I respect people. I do stuff in the community. He's all over the place. So he said, I got some conversation for all of these topics. He's ready to go. So we're going to get into this interview with Greg Fernandes. He is an author of Excuse Limit Zero. The book is available now, as you guys can see in the promo. But he's also a music director. Also, he's done some music directing. He's all over the place. So, Greg, I'm going to give you this time. Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are. Let them know your social media. Cool. Now, you said you've been a music director. How long have you been doing music? Like, you said your mom had brought... When did you, like, really become involved in music? Because I know when your mom was having you do it, you know, when you were younger, you were like, oh, man. But when did you realize you have a passion for it? Damn. So hold on, I got to get this in because there's some people here that said that they're not hearing your sound. So I'm going to work on this real quick and see what's going on here and get you in here and see. Boom. And let's just make sure we hear you. Let me give you a test. Let me hear you talk again. Let me see what we got going on here. Yeah, I can hear you on my end, but the people out there said that they're not hearing you. And I'm gonna try to see what we can do here and see what's going on. Let's see here. Let's go this route here. All right, let's see what we got here. Let me hear you talk, man.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. Sounds
All right.
good. All right, cool. So again, let the people know who you are, what you're doing, and again, the book is Excuse Limit Zero, and I'll let you say your stuff again.
Yeah, the book is Excuse Limit Zero. You can get it right now on Amazon. You can also go to my website, gregfernandes.com, and you'll have a link right there to Amazon to get the book. Audio book coming very, very soon. So I'm a native Brocktonian. I was born and raised here. I've been involved in music since the age of 3. My mother had me playing violin and piano at the age of 3. Music is something that has been in my family for many, many years. I grew up watching my mother direct massive choirs. I watched her, she was the organist at every single church we went to. She was just immersed in music, and it definitely fell onto me. So I was a school teacher for about 10 years. I worked in the private school systems in Cambridge and Dedham. I taught everything from preschool to 12th grade, chorus, general music, instruments, you name it, I've done it. And so, yeah, right now, I am really focused on my career as an author, a speaker. I'm doing a lot of work in the community. I'm doing some work in Brockton with the youth and Champion City Mentor Program. I'm also a conductor for the Boston Children's Chorus, of which we've just partnered up with a few schools in Brockton and the Brockton Public School System. So I'm directing some choirs at Pluff Academy and Gilmore School in connection with the Boston Children's Chorus. So lots of good things happening. Everything's good.
Nice. So what I wanted you to talk about before we get into our regular show, I want you to talk about this book, Excuse Limit Zero. Talk about this book, what it's about, and what inspired you to write this book.
For sure. The book is really just a collection of some of my life stories. When I started writing the book and I had to figure out what category my book was going to fall into, someone had suggested, it's a how-to book, but it's really not a how-to. It's really just a collection of my stories with the hopes that some people that have gone through similar things that I have can get something from it. It's a book, it's an honest and really raw story about my life that I hope will inspire and motivate everyone to not really let their past define the heights of their present. We all make mistakes, right? And we're all going to make a ton more mistakes, but this is really about getting over those mistakes and learning from them and actually thriving. So the book is really separated into 2 sections, the first half being my story, and then the second half, really the lessons that I've learned through lots of life experiences. So it's really just, it's something that I believe every Brockton child should read, because there are things in here that we all went through and all the kids from now until the end of time will go through in Brockton. It's just things that happen. So it really is it's a book to boost motivation and encourage kids to really live to their fullest potential.
Can you give some of the examples, just some examples of what's in this book over your time that you could talk about?
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean, the first 3 chapters, really, my story is about growing up until my mom's passing. Up until then, I mean, I was, like I said, in music as a young man. My mother did everything she could to sort of keep me out of trouble, keep me out of the streets. And, after high school,
he froze. Let's see if he comes
can
back.
you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, you froze there for a second.
So it was really just me floating through life, not really wanting to take life serious. I grew up with great parents who encouraged me to do great things. But young boys will do what young boys are going to do. And like most, I didn't listen to what my elders and older people were telling me. And I went down my own path, the wrong path. Ended up getting locked up right after high school, and got out and really wanted to get music back into my life. And I ended up leaving Massachusetts, going to Florida to fulfill my music career. Ended up coming back here after a hurricane in Florida. My mom passed when I ended up coming back, and that's what really sparked me into who I am today. That was the fuel I used to go back to college. 33 years old, nice. I went back to college to get my degree. I knew I was always meant to be a music teacher. My mom groomed me to be a music teacher, but I did everything, I tried to do everything the easy way, right? I tried to get it all without putting in the work. And so once she passed, I knew I had to go and take care of my true calling, got my music degree and began teaching. And that's really what I wanted to do. And that's really blossomed into all these things that I have going on now. It really just opened a lot of doors for me.
And I got to applaud that because, there's a lot of people out there that, when brothers go off to jail or go off and serve time, there's a lot of people that say it can't be done. People can't come out and get back into society and be successful. So you are that success story. You applied yourself, you realize, hey, I got to change this for the better, and you got it done, and I applaud that. And, there's a lot more men who need to hear that story. And the thing is we've got a lot of young black men in Brockton that was in that situation that has bounced back and has become a big part of the Brockton community and have changed their ways. The sad thing is that we don't really throw a light on that, and that's the sad part. We throw the light on guys when they mess up again and they go back, they get all that press. We don't get any press for the guys who get out and do like what you did. And that's the sad thing. And the great example is, we have a person here who ran for mayor, fell short, and when this person was running for mayor, he was trying to get all the press he could. But then unfortunately he gets pulled over in a car that's uninsured and a bullet in the car, and now he gets press all over the place. And it's like, oh, well, what the hell? You couldn't give this guy all this press when he was running. Why couldn't we do it then? But we're gonna run with this story now. And I just find it to be a sad situation as to how this whole thing is being treated and handled. So
I think the sad part really falls on the lap of the social media outlets and the different media outlets that Brockton has. I mean, there are a lot of guys and women doing a lot of good work in this city. And there are a lot of people who have, grew up here, left, live out of state, but are willing to come back and collab with people out here. But how things go, people pick and choose what stories they want to highlight, and what it is.
Exactly. So we'll see, but it's great stuff. How could people get your book? I know it's out there; it's everywhere. I know it's on Amazon.
You can get my book on Amazon. You can definitely go to my webpage and reach out to me there. I'm all over the place. It will be the audiobooks coming on Kindle very, very soon. It's all done recording. We're just waiting for some legal things to get through. But yeah, you can really find me on Instagram at Fernandes 508. You can find me on Facebook. I'm everywhere, so it's easy to find.
Now, under COVID, before COVID, a lot of people, when they put a book out, they used to go and do, realistically, would be book signings. Book signings was a way to get your book bought. Have you thought about setting up any type of Zoom virtual book signings or something of that sort and get on that? That's a touchy subject, man.
Really? I'll tell you a story. So I released my book in March.
Okay.
Right? 5 days before the entire country shut down, I had a big release party planned, 300-person guest list. Wow. I had a big release party, everything lined up to release this book. And then it happened. everything shut down. I had a tour planned. I had a bunch of things planned for the book, radio, TV interviews, and everything just got shut down in a matter of days like that. So it took a little regrouping. I ended up still going on a impromptu tour that I created myself because really there was nothing else for me to do. I literally jumped in my RV, drove to Maine, and stopped every single state all the way down to Florida. I got videos of it on my Facebook page, and I documented the whole thing and just went on my own book tour and stopped in every hood I could stop in every state on the way to Florida, and stopped and gave away my book, sold my book, met people, talked to people. It was a great thing. But, this pandemic has really, made people show their true colors. You got to come up with creative and new ways to make things happen right now, right?
Yeah.
Strong survive, especially when everything's against us right now. So got to make it happen.
So as a music director, now a lot of people know I manage the artist Vienna Marie. And right now, the key is being creative and staying fresh. Luckily she was able to reach 150,000 streams on Spotify, but that was hard work. That was hard work through the just pushing that internet environment, which a lot of people, what we saw, and I know you as a music director, the key is to stay busy. We saw a lot of people that they took this as the lazy route. Like we seen a lot of people, we did online shows, and, we put a lot behind our online shows early on. We wanted to create the visual. And some people were like, y'all doing too much. We heard it. We heard people saying you're doing too much. Now everybody's like, wow, we should be doing what you're doing. Now people are starting to do backdrops instead of just sitting in their living room on the couch and singing off their phone. As a music director, what kind of advice could you give those people right now? Because it doesn't look like COVID's going away anytime soon. So as far as arrangement and putting an online show together and just being good at what you need to do as a music director, I want you to tell these people that are watching the show right now.
Yeah, now is not the time to be sitting still doing nothing, right? Now is the time to be creative and to really show who you are as an artist, as a director, whatever you can do. For example, when the beginning of the summer, my good friend John Williams, who runs Champion City Mentor Program, we ended up talking early summer, and he said he was going to be running an outdoor summer camp program that was completely masked, socially distanced outside the whole summer, and what could we creatively come up with to incorporate music with the kids. And so we ended up putting this whole project together. We got dirty tires donated. We washed the tires. We taped them up. We cleaned them. We decorated them and turned them into drums. Actually, Channel 5 came and did a story on us over the summer. So that's just something creative we had to come up with. Also, these virtual choirs and getting out there with people and still doing things. Right now, I'm a part of 4 virtual choirs that I'm working with between Boston Children's Chorus and Brockton Public Schools. So getting that together, I'm doing some online live readings from my book, and I've put together some curriculum work that I'm offering to schools that they can, use the book as part of their curriculum to do something with stories or whatever they want to use it for. So there's lots of different things that I'm trying to just keep moving along. Sitting still is not an option. It's funny because even in my book, there's a chapter called Use Everything. And I mean, that's something that really can apply right now to everyone, because you must use your resources. Everything you have around you is a resource, right? And you've got to use everything right now because it's a struggle. I mean, it was a struggle before COVID. So now, we'll see what people got to put it out there.
I've heard that. Now, as a music director within the Brockton schools, how are you keeping the music programs going? I mean, like the band used to be a big part of Brockton High's curriculum. Mm-hmm. How are you keeping this music program going in the Brockton school system? Are you looking for any parents that have musical skills to help out or things like that of that sort? I mean, what are you doing? It's going to be
well, right now, I mean, I'm not a music teacher for Brockton Public Schools. I'm more of a contractor with them, a guest artist that has come in and presented a program to Brockton Public Schools. But I mean, I've tried to take it even a step further than just doing that. I mean, I'm out here, I'm creating videos that I'm emailing to the kids to generate excitement about this choir. I'm trying to make things easy. I mean, I'm dropping music off at the schools so kids can easily access their music. You just have to make things easy for people, because right now it's really not an easy time for everyone. So,
I've got actually, Viana Marie is actually in our chat. She's watching the show, and she said she would love to join a choir, if it's tied in with the schools. She says it's the best way to practice your vocals, because she hasn't been able to get out there and do what she needed to do. She said the structure will help me, so I'm pretty sure she will contact you and see what we can do about that. But yeah, it's a tough time right now. It's a crazy time. If you guys were watching the news before we went live, the breaking news is just we rolled back. Governor Baker has come out. He's rolled us back to step 1 of phase 3. All school sports, contact sports, has been eliminated for the winter. So that means there's no basketball, there's no football. This is a lot of people are upset, but the numbers have spiked, and this is where we are. And these numbers are because of people who traveled prior to Thanksgiving. And now we've got these people coming back from Thanksgiving, and the numbers are jumping up even more because these people went and did stuff that they weren't supposed to do. It's a tough situation. So, again, I've got my guy on with me, and this is a good transition into the show itself. He's going to stay on with me for this hour. He's going to be a guest host, and we'll go right into this first topic. The COVID numbers are up high. They're climbing all over the place. School programs are being shut down. Everything is falling to the wayside as we head into Christmas. Look, people, get your Christmas shopping done too, because you may end up stuck with online shopping. Like I said last week, people, you need to pay attention, because like I said, the people that aren't paying attention to the rules, I don't want to be the guy that's standing in line outside of Best Buy in 20-degree weather because they have to follow the square foot rule of how many people can be in the store, and I'm standing outside or sitting in my car till they call us in. Great example of this is our first story in the news booth. If you guys know who Tomi Lahren is, she's a Fox reporter. She is the poster child for those who are privileged. And this is how she thinks, because she tweeted today, she's applauding her mother. Her mother is a resident of in South Dakota, Rapid City, South Dakota. And the mayor of that city and town, he had put in a mask. You had to wear your mask there, and they fought this. They fought this mask ordinance. And what happened now is they won their right to not wear masks in this place of South Dakota. Now, for those who remember, South Dakota in the Dakotas was also the site of the massive motorcycle rally where Sturgis, where they had 400,000 people there that came in from out of town. And then there was a small percentage of those people who left Sturgis and said, hey, Laconia, New Hampshire has their bike week that was delayed from June is this weekend. So there were a lot of people who traveled from the Dakotas to New Hampshire. South Dakota's COVID numbers are so high right now that they're flying people out of the state to other states' hospitals to handle the overflow of those with COVID. So when you see someone like Tomi Lahren, who's a big Trump supporter, she pretty much talked crap about Dr. Fauci, who, again, and we'll talk about this later on in the show, Giuliani's got COVID now, but yet the guy that hasn't got COVID yet is Dr. Fauci. And everybody was bad-mouthing this poor man, but he's yet to get... So he knows what he's talking about. The scientists, doctors, and nurses know. But Tomi Lahren is saying to people that she's proud that they fought for their rights.
I think her exact word was wearing masks was tyranny. I think that was the word she used, right?
I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, tyranny versus keeping people safe, right? You would think it'd be a lot easier just for people to wear masks. And I think one thing that people don't understand, it's not about them, it's about other people, right? It's about other people. It's about what you could be sick and not have any symptoms, so you could spread it. It's a very simple idea, but looks like it's very hard to put into practice.
Yeah, you could be right now. They're saying the reason why we have this spike is because it's the younger crowd who went back to school and didn't follow the rules. So the younger kids, they're fine, but they're positive and non-symptomatic. So they're walking around positive and just spreading it wherever. And this is where the problem happens, and then it affects those people who, that it can affect and cause long-term damage. But it just goes to show you the mentality of some of these people. So Tomi Lahren, I don't know what to say about you, but Jesus. Moving on into the news booth. Look, I've been in a couple of movies. I've been as an extra in some movies. But when you tell me that Disney Plus is coming here in January to film the brand new Obi-Wan Kenobi series, they're going to be filming here and over in the UK, in Boston, I need this. I don't care who you are out there in radio or media land. I'm checking with all my casting. It would be my dream to be in a Star Wars TV series. I've been watching The Mandalorian real hard. That's my favorite show right now. But if I could get a little... Look, I would mind just being that alien dude with a butt on his face, drinking a drink in the cantina.
You sound like one of those people that'll sit outside and wait in line to get one of those roles.
I'm for real. I'm on it. Look, cast me. I will be in there. I'll be
on my couch watching you, man. I'm not going out in the cold to be in no movie.
Oh yeah, so they're shooting in January. They're gonna start filming here the Obi-Wan Kenobi series for Disney Plus. I can't wait. I am excited. Moving on into the legal booth, this was breaking news, and this is another tough topic. It's got a connection to Brockton. 14 Fort Hood leaders have been suspended or relieved of duty, and the reason why, for creating a permissive environment for sexual harassment and sexual assault. Now, one of the reasons why this had came into... Oh, hold on, someone's trying to call me during the show. One of the reasons why this came into play was because, unfortunately, we had a family here who's had a family member at Fort Hood, Elder Fernandes. We talked about it on the show, and Elder Fernandes had reported sexual harassment and then went missing, and then they found Elder Fernandes about 5-10 miles outside of Fort Hood, and they said that he had hung himself. Elder Fernandes had hung himself, and that wasn't the case. The problem here was that Elder Fernandes' murder was close to another one's, and what happened was that this opened up a whole can of worms. Now, there had been 25 homicides, suicides in this year alone at Fort Hood, 32 in 2019, and 24 in 2018. Now, some of the things they talked about, they said what happened was that the person investigating these cases would end up going overseas, and then the ball would get dropped because that chain of command or the person following up with the investigation wasn't able to continue with the I think that's BS. I think people who are hired to be in the military at that top tier to do investigations, police officers and detectives, they know when somebody retires or whatever. They know how the case continues. So I take that answer as BS from the military, saying that's part of the reason why some of these cases fell by the... I don't get... No. The military dots the right... Yeah.
When you have numbers like that, it's been a long-standing problem that obviously has been swept under the rug, ignored, call it what you want, ball dropped, right? Mm-hmm. And, this is just, it does hit home for us here, but this has been, you hear the stories, you read the stories, it's been going on for a while there, so.
Yeah, and it's a tough story. Like I said, this Fort Hood thing, if it wasn't for the back-to-back happening, this culture probably would have still went on. It probably still would have went on. And the reason why people sometimes, unfortunately, I hate to say it, they get comfortable in their ways. And I hate to say that, but I think that culture down there, that shows how bad it had gotten to where they were comfortable in their ways. They thought, oh, we could just write this off. And whoever thought we could just make it a suicide and it's going to go away. But the problem is Elder Fernandes' family and Vanessa's family, they didn't give up. They didn't throw in the towel. They kept on them to the point where they wanted answers. And unfortunately, the answers they got is that the top brass failed. So they're saying there still may be some charges filed against the brass. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen on that one. Also in the sports legal booth, Congress approves decriminalization of marijuana.
Here we go.
This is big. Congress approved it. So now it goes to the Senate. And the Senate is going to be pressured to pass this. And the reason why the Senate is going to be pressured to pass this is because, number one, when they started medicinally allowing marijuana, they found one thing. And they found that veterans is how this all began. The veterans needed marijuana. PTSD is real. It's very real. Veteran suicides is way up. And the drugs that they were giving a lot of these veterans, these psychotic drugs and things like that, they weren't working. It was a powder keg ready to explode. So a lot of veterans, they turned to medicinal marijuana. And when it came time to start pushing for legalization of marijuana, they found that it was a lot of veterans who were coming forth and pushing for the legalization of marijuana. But for years, marijuana had been this scourge of neighborhoods, and a lot of people have been put in jail. Now, this is a big deal because
it is. It's a racial justice issue to me. You know,
go for it.
Is it now because the veterans needed that? It's a big issue. It's been a big issue. It's a racial justice issue, right? My thoughts, you know, whatever one's views are on the use of weed for recreational use, for medical use, the policy of arrest, prosecution, and incarceration at the federal level obviously has proven to be unwise and unjust, right? So to me, this is it's a racial justice issue. You know, legalization is an important step, but I mean, it's towards ending the war on drugs, but it can't really come quick enough.
Yeah, and like I said, we're one step away. It's going to the Senate. Now, there's some word that the Senate isn't going to pass it, but I think there's a lot of pressure there. The wheels are in motion. There's a lot of things here. And look, as soon as Congress approved it, the NBA this weekend, as soon as it was approved, the NBA turned around and they was like right away, and we're going to go right into the sports booth with this one. The NBA suspended random marijuana testing for 2021 season, 20 to 21 season.
A lot of players going to avoid some fines next year, boy.
And it's crazy because the NFL has also went lax on it, the testing of marijuana. And people forget, you know, Ricky Williams, way back, Ricky Williams was promoting medicinal marijuana, and people were laughing at him. They was clowning him.
They outcasted him.
That's right, you know? They did. They numbers of fines. He was fined many times. And now you've got people like Ron Gronkowski, who had a big, before COVID hit, Ron Gronkowski had a big-ass banner in Gillette Stadium promoting his CBD business. How crazy is that? Here we are just 5-6 years ago, we are outcasting Ricky Williams, and now we are putting Rob Gronkowski on a pedestal for CBD after his retirement.
Well, I mean, Colin Kaepernick, do we need to go there?
It's just crazy. So the NBA has turned around. They've suspended their random marijuana testing for 2021 season. Look, I think it's a good thing because one thing about this, and I see it here, is because I work at the airport and we've got a lot of drivers and things like that who are suffering from PTSD. They're former military guys, but they can't smoke because they drive public transportation. So we need to allow them to be able to drive. So with this being approved and moving along, there's going to be limits set. You can't have zero tolerance. There's going to be standards like the drunk driving standards. So it's going to get real interesting. Also for those who can't get a gun permit because they would rather smoke weed than be able to get a legal gun permit. You know, that's the whole thing there.
Well, I think it's going to have to be a universal thing. It's sort of like COVID, right? They tried shutting, you know, this state down, this city, but these guys can move around. You know, there's a lot of this, a lot of that running around in confusion. Right. I think the whole thing with legalizing weed, it's like, you know, some states you can, some states you can't. You get arrested in this state, but you can go to a store and buy it over here. I mean, there's got to be some consistency. And I think we all know where it's heading, and it's long overdue.
It is, and we've got 4 places that have opened up in the city of Brockton, and I know they were trying to fight this, and I told people, you know, when they were trying to fight the 4 spots from opening up in Brockton, I said, hey, look, we need to let these open, because if we don't let them open in Brockton, you know what's going to happen? The border of Avon, it's going to open in Avon just 100 feet over the border. West Bridgewater, it's going to open right over the border. Abington, it's going to open just over the border. And we're going to lose that tax money. It's just best to just have it open here, have the one on each side of town, and let's pull in that tax revenue. We need to get this done. And it's time. It's time to decriminalize it. It is time. Because there's a lot of young black men whose lives have been ruined because of this. You know, you got this dude who's in the hood that's in jail for the last 15 years over a weed charge, while little Johnny in I forget what city or town, but he was at Yale, raped a girl, and because he had a college life, well, we feel bad for him, so we're going to knock it down to 6 months, and then COVID hits and we put him on house arrest, and then he gets released while this young lady who he raped, her life is ruined, and the kid that was caught selling a pound of weed is still in jail doing time.
And it's like you said, jobs, whether it's licensing for anything, and this stuff follows you. It follows you. And for something that, is not as severe as going out and killing someone or doing some, off the wall for just someone selling some weed, it doesn't balance out.
Promotions, people losing promotions too, using that as an excuse. Oh man, you got a weed charge, I can't give you that promotion. No, I'm good. I'm all set. While the white guy that's doing coke 24/7, he can get moved up the ladder because it's out of his system in 24 to 48 hours. It's craziness. So we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on this. It's to the Senate now. The big push is on. Right now, they're saying the Senate's not going to pass it, but I don't know, people. The way SCOTUS has been voting, the way the Senate has been voting, and the tax revenue money, the states like Colorado and all these states that are raking in this tax money, it's going to be real hard for the Senate to say no this time around. As far as it's because it's all about money, to be honest. At the end
government
of the day.
has showed us one thing over the past year, it's that you never know what's going to happen. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to the next topic. We're heading into the sports booth, but first I got to mention Vero G Spotlight Magazine for December. Viana Marie is pictured on the cover. She's also being interviewed in the magazine, so you want to make sure you reach out to Vero G Magazine. Check it out. And we've got some people in the chat said stuff is pretty harmless, much less dangerous than alcohol. I've always said that. I'm not going to lie. I work for Federal Transit. I've been on the MBTA I was in the MBTA for 23 years, and now I'm over at Logan Airport. And I'm not going to lie, in 1991, when I first got hired, I was a youngin' on the MBTA. My thing was smoking weed back in the 90s. I didn't drink. I wasn't a drinker. I hated drinking. But then what happened was in New York, they had that big train crash. And then after that big train crash, they said that the doorman, the train driver, was high on weed. And that's when the whole random testing came out in 1991. And I just stopped smoking weed because I wasn't losing my job on the T after smoking weed. That was a career job. So I just stopped smoking in 91, and I haven't smoked weed since 1991. But I'll tell you right now, I started drinking a little bit of beer. I'm not much of a beer drinker. I drink a little bit of cider. But again, alcohol is expensive. It messes, there's times where you just get drunk and you just get out of hand. There's people who just, so for me, look, legalize and advertise, man. That's what Keith Murray used to say back in the day.
Got that right.
Patrick Goldstone just said in Massachusetts, you can grow 12 plants in your house. You can. People are now growing at home. And it's great. People can grow in their home, and it's a good thing. A lot of people are benefiting from this. So I like it. I hope the Senate does the right thing. And we'll see.
I think they will.
Yep. Moving on to the sports booth, the Patriots, man, 45-0, they took the Chargers out. Special teams was playing on a whole different level. You ever watch a game and see one aspect of a team just play completely out of their minds? Special teams was out of their mind. This kid, Gunnar Olszewski, he had a punt return. He received a pass from Cam Newton and took the yak and put it into the end zone. The kid was a beast.
He was on fire. A
lot of people on the squad were practice squad players who are now stepping up. We're seeing a lot of that from the Patriots. 45-0. They're still in the playoff hunt. Your thoughts on the Pats, man, taking down these Chargers?
What's the backup quarterback's name there?
Jarrett Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham. He better be ready because I think we're going to need him. Belichick's one of those guys who uses the weirdest people to get the W. And I think if he comes in for a few plays here and there just to mix it up, give the defenses a different look, that's going to play to our advantage.
And you catch them sleeping. Yeah,
we don't have the weapons we are accustomed to having. So I think right now, Bill's got to get creative and do what he does.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels, these last couple of games, he's called a really good game. There was a few games there where I was pissed at the way Josh McDaniels was calling the offense. But this game here, he mixed it up really good. They ran Cam when they wasn't expecting them to run Cam. So I was really happy with that one. I was very happy. So we'll see. Patriots...
if you don't mind, I want to give one quick shout out to a Patriot.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
He's not a Patriot right now, but Ben Watson, he is actually one of the guys who endorsed my book. I had the pleasure of teaching his kids at a school in Dedham. I taught 5 of his 7 kids, and he was a really awesome person to work with. So big shout out to Ben Watson and the New England Pats. So
yeah, he was a pretty good threat when he was here. Another big guy at the tight end spot. So Ben Watson, shout out to you, man, and hope you're enjoying that retirement because it's a tough time out there. Moving on in the sports booth, man. The Patriots, at this press conference, Bill Belichick kind of got broken up. You don't usually see Bill Belichick get broken up. The Patriots' long-term cheering director, 30-plus years. Traci Sormanti passed away. She lost her battle with cancer. And she is responsible for bringing a lot of women, young women in the Boston, New England area to live their lives on the Patriots for the last 20 years, Super Bowls. A lot of minorities were placed on the Patriots cheerleading squad because of Traci also. So what the Patriots did is they actually put out a nice tribute for Traci. And what I'm going to do here for you guys is I'm going to show you guys this tribute featuring Traci Sormanti, and then we're going to come right back here and get more into the booth. But here's the tribute that the Patriots put out for Traci Sormanti. It's very, very touching. Here we go.
I don't think anyone will believe me when I say this. There is not even a work day that I drive in and I look at the stadium and I still, even if it's just a moment, I have that aha moment where I say, yep, still lucky. I'm just lucky.
I've been blessed to have some of the NFL greatest coaches grace our sidelines during my tenure. Bill Parcells, Pete Carroll, and the greatest of all time, Bill Belichick. One has already been immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and the other 2 are likely to join him shortly after they retire. But no coach has brought more style and grace to our sidelines than Traci Sormanti. In '94, I hired Traci, who was a former Patriots cheerleader, to take over as the coach of our cheerleading squad. Like any great coach, she was meticulous in her preparation and practiced to perfection. She was passionate about her work. She led by example. She coached with honesty and integrity.
As you know, there will be 34 women who make the team today. We have a lot of talent in this room. I wish I could pick all of you. And I know probably many of you don't believe that, but I simply can't.
This was her world, and I'm so lucky to have been able to see what it's truly like to dedicate yourself to something you love. That's what she really showed us.
So Traci's one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. She has always been the light on a dark day, especially during the whole pandemic.
What is true is if you want something bad enough, you have to work for it. You have to plan it out. You have to plan it out thoroughly and commit to it every single minute.
She's touched the lives of hundreds, if not thousands of people. She's always been a person to believe in people, bring out the best in them. She's certainly done that for me, and I'm so fortunate and blessed to have worked with her and had her mentorship and her friendship.
Be proud. You're really, really great. And today's a hard day for me. I'm very, very proud of all of you.
You know, the Patriots cheerleaders, you know, they're really what they are today because of her. She is this program and she built this brand. So she hasn't just impacted me, but she's impacted this whole organization.
She earned my utmost respect and admiration for the way her teams performed, not just on the sidelines, but more importantly, as Patriots goodwill ambassadors in our New England communities and on USO tours around the world. Our sidelines will never be the same without her, but she will always be part of our Patriots family. And I personally love her very much and give her a big hug and kiss.
All right, back here. Very touching video put out by the New England Patriots. This is just a tough one. She'd been here for a long time, so prayers, blessings go out to the family, and it's just a tough loss. It's going to be some hard shoes to fill. I see Patrick Goldstone said they got the Chargers number, so don't get too excited. Yeah, you know, I wish they were able to show the Junior Seau tribute that they had at the game this past weekend. They had a Junior Seau tribute, and I was kind of hoping to see that, but we didn't get to see that. That was something that happened off camera. But for those who don't know, Junior Seau was a major piece of the Chargers for the longest time. And then he left the Chargers and he came here, and he was responsible for, you know, being here during that Super Bowl run. And he was a great player here. Another guy who fell victim to, you know, PTSD and concussions, and, you know, he took his own life, and it's tough. So I got to give props and rest in peace to Junior Seau, who they recognized in this game.
And a positive out of that, a lot of changes came after his death. And that head injury, a lot of changes came after that. So, you know, there's a silver lining in every dark cloud, right? So I'm sure from that probably saved a lot more people in the future as well. So.
Yeah, I remember when it happened, the main thing was when he left his note behind, he had wanted to make sure that his brain had went to the science of breaking down, because he knew that something was wrong with him. He knew that something wasn't right, and he knew it was from the concussion. So the scary thing was that, you know, he wanted that help, and he wanted to help others even in death, and that's what the sad thing was. And you're right, that work that they did, that science that they did afterwards is, man, it's a tough pill to swallow, but it did open the doors.
It's part of our culture. It's really part of our culture where it takes something drastic. It takes something awful to happen before people really start taking things seriously. And it's part of it. It really has become part of our culture. It's sad, but that's what it is.
And real talk, you know, a lot of people, when we talk about Antonio Brown, who's now down in Tampa Bay, a lot of people say this crazy, sporadic, erratic behavior that Antonio Brown has been in the media about all stemmed from that hit he took when he played for the Steelers, and he was knocked out cold on the field during a Sunday night game. And everybody remembers it, and everybody says his life changed. He was never the same after that hit. And that's scary.
One game I sat so close, and when you see these 300-pound men moving as fast as they move, hitting as hard as they hit, my goodness, something, you know, they got to rattle something around. You get hit like that, man. Shoot, me, I'm a small dude. I remember freshman football. I got hit one good time. I was out of there, man. I didn't show up to practice the next day. I said, let me grab my violin and do what I do.
Well, it's funny because I've been following football for a very long time, and I'm going to tell people one of the things that I had noticed over the years that you don't see much right now. When guys used to play football and used to see them after the end of the games and they do their press conferences, if you looked at a lot of guys' foreheads during press conferences, you used to see guys would have black and blues. And that was just a common thing with NFL players. And I used to say, damn, they hitting so hard. You've got this black and blue here. We don't see that as much, which means, one, yes, they are making the helmets much better. The guys aren't taking the hits that they should. So it's
penalizing a lot of those bad hits, the helmet to helmets. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I know a lot of people feel it takes away from the game, but, you know, safety first. As a guy with kids, and, you know, I've seen people get hurt through the years, and, you know, safety first, man. Safety first.
Yep, Patrick Goldstone, he just agreed. He said Brown was never the same after Devontae's perfect hit. Yeah, it's a scary hit. Look it up, people, and you'll see all the incidents that happened after that. Moving on in the sports booth, man, any given Sunday, people, any given Sunday, the Steelers were 11-0. They go in. They go to play Washington, the team with no name, and they get the L and come out 11-1. Who would have thought that? But then the Seahawks, Russell Wilson, who's been throwing the hell out of the ball, he comes in, and the Giants upset the Seahawks behind Colt McCoy and that tough-ass defense. Any given Sunday, people, and like I said, COVID has really... Here's the problem, people. No fans. And we saw this in the NBA. If you watched NBA all season, I told people this was some of the best NBA we saw. We saw more overtimes in the NBA this year. Why? Because there were no fans.
It was like playing ball at the park.
That's right. Tell them.
It was like playing ball at the park. You saw them playing hard because there were no fans cheering, nothing. It was just some men out there trying to get a W. You know? I liked it, actually.
I did too, and there was a lot of people who said, I can't go back to what I was like, look, you're seeing the best ball being played. There's no fans to sway. And we saw this. We saw the early eliminations in the NBA playoffs. We saw the teams get ousted by teams. The Celtics almost went the distance because I felt there was no fans. And that's why they were able to do what they did and go as deep as they did. So we're seeing this in football right now. We're seeing this in NFL football, that any day when you come in, it comes down to how you play your game, mistake-free football on that day. You can't come in here like the Patriots. They just went in and just walloped the Chargers 45-0 because the Chargers couldn't stop the run. Patriots ran all over them. Cam Newton only threw for like 69 yards.
You can't come in there all Nate Robinson and, you know.
Patrick Goldstone said travel is rough on the player. It sure is. They actually stayed out there. The Pats stayed out there so they could play the Rams. So we'll see. But again, the Giants upsetting the Seahawks is big. And here's the crazy thing: the Giants are now atop the NFC dumpster fire of the East, and they're below 500. So the NFC East champion could be a below 500 team. That is crazy. It's happened before, but it's still crazy when that happens. Moving on to the sports booth too. Oh yeah, that's right. The Jets. The Jets, who hadn't had a win, they were on the verge of victory. They were about to beat the Raiders. 5 seconds to go in the game. Hail Mary pass, caught, touchdown. Jets lose. But here's the thing about the loss. Jets fans decided to get political and go to Twitter so they could roast Trump. So as you guys can see here, some of the things on Twitter: touchdown and field goal dumping, no doubt. Rudy is preoccupied, so roasting the political status of Donald Trump using the Jets loss. What? The Jets lost? That can't be possible. Look at all the people at their games. Oh, wait. Wow. Roasted. The Jets won that game. They were ahead before they suddenly lost, in quotes. NFL fans are the worst. Roasted. This was the best of all of them. Only the legal scores must count. Fake calls, fake at every turn. Dominion scoreboard switched every call and turned the winner into the loser. This is the greatest scam in the history of sports.
This is the life we live in right now, man. This is the life we live in. You can straight up lie to people and just lie. You can straight up lie. He let everybody just lie. The sky is purple. I don't care what you say. The sky is purple.
Roasted. Craziness. Also in the sports booth, look, I'm not a fan of this.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm curious how you see this.
I'm pissed. Look, I've been a fan of boxing for a long time. I've been a fan of the UFC for a long time. And guys, even though I don't agree with guys like Tyler King, who's an MMA fighter, we have views. But Tyler King, at the end of the day, he's been in MMA. He's been grinding for a long time. And his thing is to build up and get the fight of the year. We've got Peter Barrett, as you see behind me. Peter Barrett's been grinding. He's got a big fight coming up on UFC 256 against Chase Holloway. Logan Paul, whose brother was knocked out just 2 weeks ago. Well, he knocked out Nate Robinson, but he's only had 2 fights. But Logan Paul actually lost to KSI in this pay-per-view where they made, I'm not going to lie, they made a ton of money. But
that's
now,
what it's all about, man.
Yeah, Money Mayweather, that's his name. His name is Money Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is taking boxing down a level, a lot of levels in my opinion, to fight Logan Paul in February of 2021. Now, when Floyd Mayweather took on Conor McGregor, I was good with that. That was a legitimate boxer against a legitimate MMA fighter. I'm good with that. I was in Vegas. I was in Jersey, and I was like, look, we watching this. This is going to be a good fight. I'm good with this.
Mm-hmm.
But Floyd Mayweather has years of experience. Logan Paul has two fights. He doesn't have years of experience.
Yeah.
I can't see anybody sanctioning this fight. Other than money.
Oh, no, it's not going to be a sanctioned fight. That's for sure. But I tell you what, Floyd can't lose this fight. He cannot lose this fight. It's an entertainment thing. It's for the money. I'm gonna watch him beat the pulp out of that dude. I'm gonna watch it. I can't say I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Patrick Goldstone in the chat said, "Let Paul fight Tyson." Yeah, they weren't. Nobody's stepping up to fight Tyson.
I heard Tyson's about to fight Holyfield again.
Yeah, Holyfield wants that to go down. It could happen. Now, for those who watched that fight, the Nate Robinson fight, that League of Champions, that was actually League of Legends. That was actually Tyson's promotion. That's his company. So when you saw that fight end in the draw, which I was pissed about because I'm like, Tyson won that fight, but that was Tyson's company.
Vegas.
So yeah, I think Tyson wanted to just set this up for maybe a second fight or try to draw someone else out. I think what they wanted to see was their numbers under COVID, because in 2021 they may be able to go back to live audiences. Will live audiences support seeing 50-year-old men box? I think they will. I think 50 is the new 30 right now in society. I think people will pay to see a Holyfield Tyson fight again. I think people will pay. I think they will pack the house. I think, unfortunately, boxing needs something like this. I think the pay-per-view purse will handle it, where so many people watch online like right now. So I think it's there. I think
Listen, man, we live in a reality TV world right now. Right? Everything is just sugar-coated, made up. If it's not posted, it never really happened. We live in that world right now. So this is what people want.
And it's selling. It's selling. And it's funny too, because the funny thing is even though you had Roy Jones Jr. and Tyson taking on each other, the biggest talk out of that whole fight for a week was the knockout of Nate Robinson.
They stole the show. Yep. They stole the show.
Yeah, craziness. So we're gonna move on into the entertainment booth. Here's where I don't like hearing stories like this. Bob Dylan, a legend in rock music. Bob Dylan just sold his entire song catalog for $300 million to UMG. Usually when you see people like this sell off their libraries or their catalogs to be used, that means their health's not good. That means they're getting their house in order, because they don't want people like Prince's family, who died unexpectedly, Prince, fighting over funds or assets or where his library should go, and taking a year or so to get it straight. We're seeing a lot of stars, legends, they're selling their catalogs now. They're selling them off. $300 million to UMG. Now, UMG is responsible for buying up a ton of artists' music that are, retired and gone. And this is why you're hearing some of this music in commercials these days and selling products. you're hearing a lot of rap music right now is now in a lot of commercial marketing right now. Rap music is big. I know Bad Boy's got a ton of music right now out there on the commercial marketing field. So Bob Dylan, who has an extreme library of music, sells his catalog for $300 million. As a music director, this is something that's on your radar. You tell your people, keep your rights to your music. You try to keep your masters for this payday. This is exactly why they tell you, correct?
Yeah, 100%. And like you, I totally mimic what you say. When people do things like this, there's usually something behind it. I don't think Bob Dylan was hurting for money in any way, shape, or form. And so for him to do this, obviously he's getting some things in order to, having, it didn't happen with my family, but, when my mom died, I can see how that could be a problem for a lot of families. Thank God it wasn't a problem in my family. But, when someone like that dies and there are things to fight over, it gets ugly. So I support it.
Well, the thing is, too, a lot of people don't even understand the value of some of this music. So there's some people that are probably in their family like, I don't know what to get for that music, and then you don't realize the value of some timeless music. So, again...
Well, to me, it's a respect thing as well. And I'm talking from a music teacher point of view. There's lots of ways to, download music illegally. There's lots of ways to get sheet music if you want to get sheet music for instruments illegally. But I refuse to do that. If I'm going to use sheet music, I'm going to buy the right sheet music, which gives me the rights to use it. And that's really just a respect thing for the artist, for the composer. People work hard to make this music and, should be compensated, especially if you're using it for whatever you're using it for. So I totally support that. It's a respect thing. It's a rights thing. And as a musician, I totally get it.
And the crazy thing, too, is, times change. Like you just said, you were talking about times changing in music. Here's the funny thing. Like, I know with the artist Vienna Marie, the big thing right now is lyrics. Lyric videos and posting the lyrics. So, like, when you're on iTunes or Spotify now, they give you the lyrics to sing along with the song. Now, for years, many, many years, when your mom was doing music, lyrics was guarded. You didn't get the lyrics. If you got the lyrics and the liner notes of the album that you bought, that was like a hit in the lottery ticket. Because it was like you never got the lyrics. The lyrics was protected. They was locked down. But now, because of things like, these websites now that are letting you do these karaoke's and things like that online, because it's a big deal, and now they can track it, people can get money now just off the lyrics of their song alone now. And that's crazy because musically, people weren't able to recoup this money. But all this bots and listening software collects it. And now lyrics is a big deal. Every song now, you get the lyrics the next day. If you're on iTunes, you can go right in iTunes and go right down to a song and get the lyrics. Boom.
Yeah.
That was something that was very protected. It was almost secret to a point, and now it's a moneymaker. It's become a moneymaker.
Yeah, people are finding ways.
So it's crazy. So moving on in the entertainment booth for parents, hey, look, I just did it with my stepson. I'm not going to lie. Introducing Fortnite crew subscription. So if you've got a kid that plays Fortnite or a teenager or hey, in some cases, if you got a significant other who's playing Fortnite and this nickel and diamond you over these skins and things like that, Fortnite said, you know something, let's do something that's going to make it a little easier. And if people buy more, it's a win-win for us. So they introduced this Fortnite crew subscription for $11. What this does now is you take your child who plays Fortnite, you pay $11 a month, and what that does is it gives them 1,000 V-Bucks every month, so they're not asking you for the $20 for V-Bucks every month. Gives them 1,000 V-Bucks, gives them one free skin, and it gives them the Battle Pass. So if you are a parent or somebody out there who has a kid or a nephew or a cousin or somebody who loves Fortnite, this is probably a great gift to get a kid who plays Fortnite. You can't beat it. It's $11.99 a month. And you can also use that right now under COVID, to be honest. Kid don't do his homework online. You don't get the COVID. You don't get the Fortnite paid for the month. Simple as that. You're going to miss out on that skin. You're going to miss out on those 1,000 V-Bucks. Trust and believe me, I'll shut it right down for the month. So if you're out there, if you're a parent, check it out. I think it's great. I think it's a great idea. And if people end up buying extra, it's a win-win for Epic. And I think it's great stuff. Also in the entertainment booth, Versus, which we've been... Man, this got popular and came out of nowhere. I think the first real Versus that I was involved with was the Snoop Dogg and the... It was...
DMX.
Snoop Dogg and DMX was one. But the RZA, there was one with RZA. And he pretty much murdered. I forget who RZA went up against, but it was early on. It was a good one. It was a good battle. But we got Ashanti and Keisha Cole. Now, Ashanti.
Who are you, man? What team are you?
Look, Ashanti got hits, and she did a lot of features for Murder Inc. Now, if this was
a lot of other people too.
If this was a forehead battle, Ashanti would win hands down. No lie, because Ashanti has like a Peyton Manning forehead. But
you got jams too, though.
I'm leaning Keisha Cole. I'm leaning Keisha Cole on this one. I think I go back to Trust and Believe, that video, that song, them pipes. I think Keisha Cole can sneak out. I think she's got the hits. I think got a lot of hits. I think Keisha
Cole's going to take this too, because Keisha Cole's one of those artists that she's like a Mary J. People feel Keisha's music. You know what I'm saying? You can feel the pain. You can feel that in her music. Ashanti was more that glitzy, more commercial. She got she got some jams. You're going to bop your head to a lot of her stuff, but I think Keisha Cole fans are people that know every single song.
She's hood.
Every single one. She's hood. It's all hell.
Let's be real. She's hood. She's hood.
It's all hell. And people know her music. I ain't gonna lie. I was at a Keisha Cole concert in Boston like this. She got jams.
Ashanti's fake hood. Keisha Cole's real hood.
She looks better than Ashanti too. I'm just saying.
Vianna Marie said Keisha may have a better voice, but she says Ashanti she thinks has more hits. Ashanti was I agree there. Ashanti was definitely more commercial and sellable because Keisha was all about that drama. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's true.
That's a draw. That's a draw to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it there, keeping it hood instead of going off into that land.
Yeah, because we see that now. Keeping it hood now is selling. Is the drama sells? You watch all these reality shows.
But this is fake hood. What you're seeing right now. This is fake hood stuff. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like this is I'm gonna leave it right there. But yeah, what you see right now, don't believe everything you see.
I know. I see the black inks and all that stuff, and I'm like, some of this stuff ain't real. It can't be. Moving on, and we've got a video for this one coming up, people. So SNL had an epic fail. Now SNL usually does an epic fail. SNL is a satire. They satire a lot of things in reality, and what they did is that they satired the Michigan hearings, which had Rudy Giuliani where he farted, and they also had this star witness, Melissa Caroni. Now,
hot mess.
Look, 2020 was the year of the Karen. I'm just saying, and Karen was in full tilt in this courtroom on this day in Michigan. Now, SNL, they tried their best to satire Melissa Caroni, but guess what? They failed. They didn't do it. They couldn't. And you know why? Because Melissa Caroni, at the end of the day, I felt like I was watching a sequel to My Cousin Vinny. Vianna Marie said in the chat, she said, hashtag hot mess Karens.
Hot mess Karens. Tiger eating your husband Karens. This been crazy. Come on, man.
So
she did it.
Oh man. So what I got here, I got the actual video from Michigan. And this is actually a first. This is the first segment ever produced. I put this together. This is a Sinister One production. And This is great stuff. So here's the video of, because I can't even show the SNL clip because it was just such an epic fail. They couldn't even do this woman justice because she was horrible. This is craziness. So here we go. Here's Melissa Caroni in Michigan.
Why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
So, my question then is if the
Guess how many? Wait. What about the turnout rate? 120%.
Let's let Representative Johnson ask his question.
So the poll book number. Okay, there's two things that could happen here. Either the poll book number, if ballots were counted multiple times, there's two options. Option number one is that the poll book numbers are not going to match.
They don't.
The actual. Not by thousands and thousands of votes. That's not what we see right now.
Take a look again. Take a look again.
Option number two is that they essentially were filling in names of people who didn't vote.
Dead people too?
So is that?
Let's let
that
Representative Johnson ask his question, and then when he's done.
I thought that was his answer. Okay.
Well, I guess that's my question here is why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes. That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
I'm just saying the numbers are not off by 30,000 votes. So
I know what I
saying
saw.
That they're filling in.
I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Okay. Did you?
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my gosh, stop fucking lying.
Why you always lying? Oh man, stop playing. Listen. All I'm saying is, had she been black, she would have been escorted out that courtroom in cuffs. Let's just be real about that. Like, why you always lying? Oh man. She said, I signed some. Oh, stop playing. For real. Get that money.
It's got to be crazy when you fight in December and you got to make weight and got to watch everybody eat whatever on Thanksgiving. It's got to be... Oh, man. Funny. So, moving on into our Trump troubles. Rudy Giuliani is in the hospital after testing positive for COVID-19. Look, people, it's run the gauntlet of everybody that's been in contact with President Donald Trump. And like I said before, again, Dr. Fauci hasn't had it yet. The smartest man.
You can't be surprised.
You know,
you can't be surprised.
They wanted him fired. Trump supporters said he was lying to people. Trump supporters and Trump Americans said he's trying to pull the wool over our eyes. COVID is fake. Yet the man has yet to have COVID since January. He has not had it. But Giuliani's had it. Kellyanne Conway's had it. Trump has had it. Melania's had it.
Hey.
Chris Conway. Chris Christie.
Super spreader events. You know? My personal opinion, Giuliani should have been in the hospital a couple weeks ago for mascara running down his face. I'm just saying. But you knew it was coming. They're walking around with no mask, hugging people. I really think they're on another mental level. They really think that they're too good to get it. What else could it be? Why wouldn't you wear a mask knowing that people are dying right now? So you can't be surprised that all these people are catching it over there.
And the sad thing is too is Rudy Giuliani tests positive, and he's been running around all over the place with people in courtrooms with people, and now these people got to sit back and be like, "Damn, now I got to get tested these next 2 weeks because Rudy Giuliani has been running around." Maria Wilson, she said, "Whoop whoop, White House COVID-19 party." For real, for real, it's been going on. It's been going on. Moving on. Wisconsin Supreme Court rejects Trump's election lawsuit. And before we went live on the air, I also just saw Pennsylvania is throwing out their lawsuit. So it's pretty much a wrap, people.
I got one word for that.
Yep.
Duh. Duh.
Today was Safe Harbor Day. Safe Harbor Day is the day that the Elections Committee, the Electoral Colleges, starts to acknowledge these states that have confirmed. So right now, the Safe Harbor is now agreeing with Biden being the victor, which means now it goes to those Senate and congressmen to give in their behind-the-scenes, votes, and it will probably end up going to Biden. But anybody who keeps talking about, I've got some people, Tyler King, Patrick Goldstone said, Rudy the Savior and the Elite Strike Force. What a joke. But I've got people like Tyler King, Derek Zemel, these guys, they keep saying, oh, it's going to SCOTUS. No, it's not. It's not going to the Supreme Court. There's no evidence. They're 1-in-49 at the civil level right now. The state and civil levels now, 1-in-49. They haven't won a case yet. They haven't been able to prove any evidence. If you think they're going to waste more taxpayers' money, even though Trump is paying for some of this, there's still taxpayers' money being wasted. If you think SCOTUS is going to hear any of this BS right now with no evidence,
cry baby, my pants are wet attempt to change stuff. Like, get out of here, man.
And here's my thing. Here's what I tell people. I tell people Trump is smart, and people say, why? I said, because here's the thing. Trump knows that he's getting out of office and he's walking into almost $1 billion in debt, and collectors are coming.
Charges.
Yeah,
and criminal
charges. They're coming for him. They're coming for him. So what I think he did is he knew this was coming. He set this up into people's heads and said, you know what? Let's get the sympathy, because he's already raised $2 million from fundraising, from the sympathy from his Trump supporters and his Trump Americans. They've raised all this money, so when he gets out, guess where your money's going? It's going to pay back his debt. That's where it's going, people, because he knew this was happening.
After January, this is just my opinion. After January, we're not going to hear too much from Trump. Trump's going back to Florida. He's going to go back to messing up businesses. I don't think we're going to hear too much from him after this.
And I think the GOP, when you see you've got 27 GOP members who already have said they've accepted the Biden win. It's left and right that we see GOP coming out every day, supporting the Biden win, and they want to just get things going. And here's the thing, people, Trump is making it so hard for everybody that when Biden does get in, the GOP is going to want to distance themselves from that Trump history. They're going to work with Biden just so they can just get away from that Trump history.
Here's what I don't want to hear. Here's what I don't want to hear, because there's going to be a lot of people coming out after this is all said and done. Oh, I knew he was no good, and I knew he was doing all this messed up stuff. Like, 2 words, shut up. No one's trying to hear that right now, because all these people that are quiet and just letting him act crazy and do his thing don't come out when he's gone and say, yeah, he was a bad guy. Like, nah, that's something that really needs to be looked at closely.
Yeah, it's going to be Patrick Goldstone.
Silence speaks volumes.
Patrick is sharing a link for everybody to click on if you want to check it out. Trump is trying to claim crazy. That way they can't find him competent to stand trial. That could be true, too. His family was already asking for pardons, Rudy Giuliani and his daughter, because Ivanka was doing stuff behind the scenes that was illegal. When she went to China and was pushing her brand in China after he became president, That was illegal. That was conflict of interest. Eric Trump Jr. He's got some Donald Trump Jr. and Eric and all these people. Jared Kushner, they're coming for him. They're coming for them, and we'll see what's going to happen. Also in there, there's another one that Trump lost. Trump pounded his chest because he flipped over the DACA that Obama had put into place that protected the children of illegal immigrants so they could still get their lessons and learning in and get their college degrees in, because it kind of looked past the fact that they were illegal aliens because they came here with their parents and they were allowed to get educations and jobs. A judge has ruled and restored DACA. Now, Trump's people are trying to get that reversed. It's not going to happen, people. That it's been... Oh, SCOTUS dismissed Trump today. So it's a done. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. SCOTUS dismissed Trump today. It ain't happening, people. You can pray or do whatever all you want. It's not coming. So a DACA is big. DACA is back. It's been reversed. So Trump is pissed about that. And people, here's the thing. In the 4 years, most of the stuff that Trump has put into place has been reversed. SCOTUS has turned it back around. It's been reversed, and it's back to where Obama had it. So, moving on, at a rally, President Trump falsely claims he won Georgia. When do we call it lying in the press? Let's stop being nice to him. He's not falsely claiming, he's lying. He's straight lying.
They've done more counts than they need to. It's a mess. He lost that state. Get over it.
Look, here we go.
Yeah, get over it.
Why you always lying? Oh my gosh. Stop lying.
Also, as we move along here, Trump regulators leave a warning for the Biden team. So the short-term funding market, which has been in the place in forever, it supplies money in situations such as these. They have let the Biden team know that this market is about to collapse. Now, it's happened before in 2018, and I believe it happened in 2016. But it has to be watched. If this does collapse, this short-term funding market collapses, everything will come to a halt as far as stuff goes for employment and things of sorts. If this bill passes, this $30 billion bill, this bipartisan bill, if it passes, that will be able to help us at least until spring. Patrick Goldstone says 2008 is when it happened the last time. Thank you, Patrick, on that one. We'll see. Again, I think this bipartisanship bill is going to go through. I think that $30 billion and the stimulus checks are going to go through. I think Biden and the GOP are going to work together and give people some relief after Christmas, just in time for taxes. And they have to, because, like I said, I work at the airport. And I'm just going to let you guys know how serious this is, people. I work at Logan Airport. I work and oversee the maintenance facility for a transportation company, Paul Revere Transportation. That's my regular job on the side. We went from 60 buses a day on the street down to 6. I would order 20,000 gallons of diesel fuel every 2 weeks. I'm down to ordering 5,000 gallons of fuel every month. So when we say that this is taking a toll on society, people aren't flying anywhere. This is crazy. And as far as COVID goes, people, I've been dealing with this since January. Because I work at the airport. So, we were dealing with protections and all of this stuff. There were some things that happened in January that I could lose my job over if I told people. So I'm just saying that it's a scary thing. And people just need to take COVID seriously. Just really take it seriously. Moving on into the Trump booth, we are now into the Biden bombshells because, as I said, we are transitioning from Trump troubles to Biden bombshells. Biden just nominated retired Army General Lloyd Austin. He will be the Secretary of Defense. He is the first black man to hold this title. R Squared, who's been on the show, Rob Resnick, a JAG officer, 30 years in the military. The first thing he texted me in the private chat with me and him and Ken was that he served under General Lloyd Austin when he was overseas in Iraq, and said he's a stand-up guy. He applauded this appointment. A lot of people that were on other people's pages have come out and said this is the guy. This is a great guy to have. I think he's a 4-star general.
Yes, 4-star general. I have a feeling he might. I'm all for it, but I have a feeling he might make some resistance, man. He might.
Yeah, they said the GOP was grumbling about the pick, but they're gonna grumble a little bit.
Well,
they are.
They're grumbling. There's a reason, and it sort of circles right back to Trump, because it's something that Trump did 4 years ago with what's his face there, Mattis, right? I think Austin hasn't been out of the military for the required 7 years it takes to become
Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense. So what he would have to do is he would need a waiver, I think, from Congress to become the Secretary of Defense. Here's the problem with that. 4 years ago, Trump did that for Mattis, and look how that turned out. So, I think at the end of all of it, he will, but there's going to be some hurdles. It's not just going to be a stroll in. It never is for us, is it?
We'll see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they always find some way.
His beard's too long, and his hair's too short. Something. They'll find something, but kudos to Mr. Lloyd Austin.
And I must say, look, Biden has gotten in, and you know what? He was under fire for some of the things he said. And like I said, there were some things that I said that I didn't agree with. And there were some things that, like when he was on Breakfast Club, I knew when he said what he said on the Breakfast Club, I'm like, look, that what he said on the Breakfast Club happens to a lot of people let's just be real. It happens to a lot of white people when they go on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God and these guys. They go on there. They know it's the hip show to be on. So you go on. You try to be hip on the show, and then you end up making yourself look stupid. Like when Hillary Clinton got on there, Hillary Clinton knew how to act. Now Cory Booker, who's a black man himself, Cory Booker got on Charlamagne the God, and he's got on Breakfast Club, and they outed him. They said to him, yeah, you're on here, you're talking with us, you're not going to drop out in a couple of weeks, are you? And Cory Booker was like, oh, no, I'm this, I'm that, and this and that. And then they had the debates, and guess who was the first one to drop out after the debates? Cory Booker. And then Charlamagne and them, they called him out. And it was all over him, So that's what happens with this show. People go on there, and then they try to be relaxed and try to do things that don't. And like I said, people are like, well, he said, I'm like, but Charlamagne checked him. You guys got to realize when Biden said what he said on Charlamagne's show, Charlamagne checked him right on the spot and let him know you can't say that on this show. Yeah. This isn't about Trump. He checked him, and when he checked him for all of us because Charlamagne was speaking for all of us. So one of the things I've noticed is that Biden and Harris, this is going to be one of the most diverse. This cabinet. This White House is looking more diverse than what Obama had when he was in there for 2 terms. I'm really excited for what's about to happen here.
He's setting it off, and he's putting himself in a position where he has powerful people of color in positions to make major decisions. I mean, for Kamala Harris to be the last person in the room to talk with him and give it to him straight, that's got to give a lot of us some comfort, right? And she's done some things in the past. Yeah, she locked up some people. But listen, for a black woman to get to where she's at, leave that woman alone and let her lead, because she's about to lead this country. She's about to lead this country.
Yeah, and for some too, at the end of the day, a lot of people did get locked up, but you're gonna say there's a lot of people who shouldn't have did what they did to get locked up, and people will say that too. At the end of the day, but like I said, we are heading in this direction. If the Senate talks about
overcome your mistakes and thrive, brother. We all make mistakes, right?
Yeah. And like we said, if this decriminalization of marijuana goes through at the Senate level and it gets passed, guess what, people? All of these drug cases will be expunged. A lot of these young black men will be let out of jail. And here's the thing, people. Yeah, it's a happy time, but here's the thing, people. We as a community, we need to accept these people back into the community and then help them, because we all know what happens when dudes get out of jail. Sometimes they keep that same mentality and then they end up back in there for other things. So we need to accept these people back and set them on the path. The great thing about this is that they're already talking about, if this passes through the Senate and they expunge these people and they get released, they're also saying that when these people go for jobs, that won't affect them in getting a job. That record will not be there. I pray that is true, because that will help a lot of people get jobs that will be looking for work. Because
I think the only way that happens is, records have to be cleared, because you can say, I'm not going to pay attention to that all you want. But once that person doing the hiring reads that on the application, as a convicted felon, I know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? I have had to sit in front of people that could potentially give me a job and tell them, look, I was a young, dumb kid. I did this, that, and the other, and here I am now, right? So I know that feeling firsthand. So, the way I only really see that happening, records have to be expunged, just so there's that implicit bias. It's always going to be there as soon as they see it on the paper.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happening. I think that's what they're looking to do. They want to make sure, and if that happens, that is a huge plus. If that doesn't stay on the records either, I would be grateful of that one. So, get ready to head out of here. A quick show. We actually went a little bit over, 8:36, but I'm good. I got to talk about some of my guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. Next December 15th. I've got Black C, rapper Black C. He's coming on the show. Just dropped his new video, Sit Down with Rex. And look, it's fire. It's fire. If you've been watching the pre-show, you might have caught a glimpse of that. Also, the week after that, December 22nd, Get Well. She just had surgery, but she says she's still coming on this show. Lisa Bello will be on the booth December 22nd. She's got a new album dropping. I've also got Bob Hildeberg signed on. He wrote the Patriots Encyclopedia. That's the book you see out there. He's got a whole book out there he's been running off. You've been seeing him on other radio stations and shows. He's going to be on this show December 28th. Now, I'm doing that from memory, so I think I got that one, but I think it's December 28th. And then I've got some people coming on right after the first of the year. Man, we rolling along here in the booth. We got guests hitting me up, coming on the show. And I'm just real happy for it. Also, guys, remember to check out my partner shows. Oscar Mike Radio, Travis Partington. He's a Marine veteran. His show is geared towards helping veterans and those businesses who help veterans. He talks about a lot of things, PTSD. He talks about abuse. He talks about a lot of stuff on his show. So if you get a chance, check out Oscar Mike Radio Thursday nights. Also, check out Matty C Sports for You and Me. He's actually going to be interviewing Theo Fleury again from the NHL. And look, Matty Cameron's got a great show. He's been hanging out with us and doing a lot of things. Again, I got to thank my guest for coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Greg Fernandes. Look, I'm so happy because, like I said, I have people come on. Usually we have people come on for 10 minutes, and I have them on. But I said, but then there's some people you feel like they can just come on and guest host with you, Keith. And I'm like, this is a guy that I can have come on. He can guest host with me, and we can have a great show. So I want to thank you for coming on, answering the call. It was a great show tonight, and it's good stuff. Please shout out your book again and your social media before we get out of here.
So, again, my book, Excuse Limit Zero, How to Overcome Your Mistakes and Thrive. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Kindle. You can find me on the gram at G Fernandes 508. I'm on Facebook, Greg Fernandes or Treble Bass Publishing. And please check out my website, gregfernandes.com. A lot of information about what I got going on in the city. A couple of things I just want to shout out coming up this week. If you happen to be in the Brockton area, tomorrow, actually, Brack's Pub and Grill, the Old O'Leary's. We're doing a fundraising event there tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Anyone that comes to Brack's and orders food or orders anything, food, drinks, whatever, 20% of your bill is going to go to Champion City Mentor Program. So everyone, please try to make it out to Brax tomorrow. Grab yourself something to eat, get a little drink, and 20% of your bill goes to Champion City. Also, Saturday, we have a North Pole drive-through event. I'm also doing an event with Champion City. It is literally a drive-through toy drive. The first 100 cars are going to get free toys. There's going to be a $500 gift card in somebody's gift bag. We're going to have Santa there. People can take COVID safe, of course. Santa's going to sort of come near your car. You're going to hang out your windows, get a picture with Santa before you go. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be lots of lights and inflatables and just a really good time for the kids. It's going to be at North Middle School from 5 to 8. So please come by, grab some free toys. Full community free event. We can't wait to see you guys. So other than that, thank you very much for having me on. Check me out, GregFernandes.com.
Mention that book again.
Excuse Limit 0, How to Overcome Your Mistakes and Thrive. Check it out.
So I want to thank everybody for tuning in the show. I got to thank everybody who's in the chat, man. Patrick Goldstone, Maria, what's going on? Viana Marie's in the chat. We got a lot of people in the chat hanging out with us tonight. Good stuff here. And we got 3 shows left before the year is done. This is crazy. And I have an announcement to make, but I don't think I can make it yet because we really haven't locked it down. But people just stay tuned to the booth because I'm going to be making an announcement that's attached to New Year's Eve. And this is going to be big. You know what?
Party at Keith's house.
I'm involved with this. I'm involved with this. So here's kind of what's going on. It's the promo has been cut. Everything's been kind of straightened out. We just got to dot a couple of I's and cross a couple of T's. But here's what's possibly going on, people. About a week or two ago, there was a Facebook chat put out on the Brockton Hub by a producer, DJ, Benson the General. And he was sharing an R. Kelly verses, and he was saying, who could step up and challenge this man in a verses? And he said, no one. And I was looking at this and I was like, no one? So I went in Facebook and I said, Prince could take R. Kelly hands down, hit for hit for hit. And we went back and forth. We had a little debate. And all of a sudden, Rocky V jumped in my head. George Washington Williams, when he said, don't give away what we can sell. when they were going to fight out in the street. I said, man, I hit him up at PM. I said, man, we're both DJs. We both produce music. Let's do this right. Let's set this up. Let's pick a date. So he felt what he felt about R. Kelly. I felt what I felt about Prince. And looks like what's going to happen is it's going to be a battle. Prince versus R. Kelly. 20 hits for 20 hits. You, the viewers, will decide the winner. And we can use those songs that those writers, those musical geniuses wrote for other artists in our set. One of the stipulations is that even though we're DJs and stuff, we can't mix or alter the music. We got to play the song as the song was recorded by the artist, because we don't want people to be wooed or swayed because, you know, I dropped a transition and made it sound better than something he dropped. We want to just drop that track, and the way that we win, and the way is by you deciding. There's going to be a logo that everybody will receive, and you can drop your logo in for Prince or R. Kelly. But this is what's going down. Who do you think has more hits? Are you Team R. Kelly or are you Team Prince? What do you before we get out of here?
Listen.
I gotta ask the music director.
Listen, R. Kelly is a musical genius. Like genius. Prince is a musical genius. Had you asked me this question prior to the Netflix documentary, I would have said I'm R. Kelly all day. But right now, I'm saying it's Team Prince. I can't. R. Kelly gets no votes for me for nothing right now. Sorry. I got daughters. My bad.
But from a musical aspect, I can see it in your head. You was like, oh.
Listen, that's a tough one right there, because you can't deal with R. Kelly right now. I can't even listen to a song. I got to turn it off as soon as I hear it. I can't do it. And I'm one of the biggest R. Kelly fans. I can't. It's tough. Can't do it.
So, yeah, this could be going down New Year's Eve, 8 o'clock, live online. This battle could be going on. The flyers should be coming out possibly by the end of the week, but I'll let you guys know. Like I said, I'm involved with the show, so I'm just going to mention it, whatever. I can't sue myself.
Well, I'm telling you. I'm just saying, if you need a host, because I got old man, I might want to be a part of Prince and Kelly right there. That's a good versus right there. That's a good one.
Yeah, and it's going to be good because each person has to kind of bring the song in as their way to woo the crowd. So we can't alter the music, but we can say, oh, yeah, this is the song that's such and such and such and such, and then drop that song. Yeah. And then that's how it's going to be. It's 20 hits. He's got 20 hits. I got 20 hits. And then we're going to put them 20 hits against each other. And then whoever comes out on top will be the champion. And somebody already said, if this works out well, if we can do this again, somebody already requested, said, man, if this works, I want a Tupac Biggie battle. And I was like, yo, we'll see. Hey. We will see. I'm
just saying, Super Freak is one of the best. Not Super Freak. What's the Pink Corvette? That was my jam. That was my jam.
Little Red Corvette.
Little Red Corvette.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Patrick Goldstone's in the chat. He said, tell Tyler King hello. I blocked him. See, for me, as we get ready to get out of here and get ready to let SpongeBob take us home, when we have these Trump Americans and Trump supporters on my page and they're talking all this stuff and craziness that people have seen, I don't block them. You know why? Because stuff comes out and then they look stupid at the end of the day. Like SCOTUS is now... I'm not blocking you. And dude was on my page. He was, like I said on my show last week, he was on my page calling me thirsty. I'm like, I'm not on your page. You on my page. You the thirsty one.
All up in the Kool-Aid. Don't even know the flavor, man.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, they're scared of us. They're scared of guys like me and you because we're ninjas with knowledge. We are ninjas with knowledge, and they know what that means.
Yep. Yep.
So, hey, I got to get out of here. I got to thank everybody for tuning in the show. We actually may have a show coming up this Saturday night in Fall River or Taunton, Vienna Marie. So I just keep an eye on our pages, but I believe we have one for charity coming up on Saturday night. So make sure to check us out. Other than that, thanks for tuning in for the booth. Greg, thank you for tuning in the show. SpongeBob, do me a favor. Take us home. We out. Peace.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine, but your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I made it, bitch, don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, but y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com. WHOOBAZOO.com.